Guys, today we're going to learn about conjugate acid, conjugate base, and conjugate acid base pair. So let's get started. First of all, I would like to tell you that according to Protonic concept or Bronsted-Lowry concept, acid is a proton donor. On the other hand, base is a proton acceptor, right? So you have to bear in mind this. Otherwise, you will not understand about conjugate acid or conjugate base. What is conjugate base? Here, this is a nitric acid and this is water, right? Where nitric acid is releasing proton and we are creating a base which is conjugate base of that acid or nitric acid, right? So the base which is formed after removal of a hydrogen from a acid is called conjugate base. So here nitric acid, nitrate ion is the conjugate base of the acid nitric acid. Well, the base which is formed after the removal of a proton from an acid is called the conjugate base of that acid. So I hope what is conjugate base is clear to you. Now would like to know, and here is the another example. Here sulfuric acid, and after removal one hydrogen we are getting this ion, and this is the conjugate base of sulfuric acid, right? Okay. Conjugate acid. What is conjugate acid? You know that in this reaction water is a base, right? And water is taking a proton. Water is taking a proton and water is taking proton and we are getting hydronium ion, right? Yeah, here this proton I have to draw like this, right? I have to draw like this, and this nitric acid is releasing proton here, and I have to draw like this. Sorry for my mistake. So however, and this water is taking proton from nitric acid, now we are getting this, and this is conjugate acid of the base water, right? So what is conjugate? This is conjugate acid of the base water. So what is conjugate base? The acid here, hydronium ion is acid, the acid which is formed by the addition of proton to a base. Since this is base, you know, is called conjugate acid of that base. I hope this is clear to you. That is conjugate acid which is produced from a base by the addition of proton. So I hope this is clear to you. Now we'd like to learn about conjugate acid and base pairs, right? What is that? You know that in acid base reaction, uh, acid 1 and base 2, right? These two acid base will react with each other and will produce this and this. From acid 1 we'll get base 1, and from base 2 we'll get acid 2, right? This base 1 is the conjugate base of acid 1, and this acid 2 is the conjugate acid of base 2. So this is the simple equation. From acid 1 we'll get base 1 by removal hydrogen. From base 2 we'll get acid 2 by addition 1 hydrogen. So this acid 2 is the conjugated acid of the base 2. On the other hand, base 1 is the conjugate base of the acid 1, right? I hope this is clear to you. And okay, here base 1, right? Base 1 is the conjugate base of the acid 1, and acid 2 is the conjugate acid of the base 2, right? Here is the example. Acid 1 base 2, this is HCl and this is water, and HCl is releasing proton and we are getting chloride ion, and here water is taking proton and we are getting hydronium ion. So this is acid 1, this is base 2, this is acid 2 and this is base 1. And this HCl and chlorine is conjugate acid base pair, and this hydronium ion and water is also conjugate acid base pair. Okay, this is a conjugate acid base pair, this is conjugate acid pair. So uh, so each acid is transforming, right? Each acid here from HCl to chlorine. Chlorine is a conjugate base and hydronium ion is the conjugate acid, right? So each acid is transforming into a base after donating a proton. Like HCl, from HCl we are getting Cl proton, and each base, this is here water, is transforming into an acid. From water we are getting hydronium ion, right? Transforming an acid after accepting proton. Here water is taking proton, accepting proton. Therefore, two acid, here HCl and hydronium ion. Here HCl and hydronium and two base, water and chloride ion. So here therefore two acid and two bases, water and chloride ion, are in equilibrium in solution, right? And they are called conjugate acid base pair or conjugate pair. So this is equilibrium, this two acid and two base. So this is conjugate acid base pair. I hope it is clear to you that what is conjugate acid, what is conjugate base, what is conjugate acid base pair, what is protonic neutralization reaction. This is the protonic neutralization reaction. And also you know what is acid according to protonic concept, what is base according to protonic concept. Thank you for viewing this video. If you think that this video is helpful for you, you can subscribe this channel and be well.